actually, you know what? Why don't you show them the backing thing they're jamming over? Because one thing I'm very proud of. So Brian, my brother Brian and I, we record a lot of stuff, and we kind of come up with like the skeleton of the song. And it's kind of like, how do we serve the best thing for people to develop over? And Siobhan comes in and she's like, turns us into John Williams or Hans Zimmer. And so like just the bass track, just like the mix underneath this, it's really cool. So not only do you have this fire of like, you know, pyrotechnics over it, but underneath it is pretty fucking driving Viking rock. Just for the drums, dude. Paul's drum sound on this is fucking relentless. And just so everyone knows, I want to make this clear. Paul, our drummer Paul, does not listen to any of these songs before he comes in and records them. Oh. He does not work out parts. He doesn't do anything other than he'll listen to it, get angry, drink his coffee, smoke a joint, come back in, be like, I can't play this. Get angry a little bit more. I'm like, dude, you can do it. He's got to be at work in like 20 minutes. You can do it. And then he does. What he comes up with off the top of his mind literally is what you hear on these recordings. So, we were talking to Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, a good friend of ours. He's like, dude, I love Paul's drumming. I'd have to practice for months to do all of that. Like, Paul would probably agree. If he actually played his own drum parts again, he wouldn't be able to do it. But because he just heard it that moment, he just plays whatever in his soul. So the thing I love about Paul is he just plays the right thing at the right time, and then he leaves. And a lot of the time, we'll play him a mix, and he goes, oh, that was me. I played that. Oh, that does sound like me.
He's very instinctual when he comes to play. He just hops up, listens, through a time or two, and then just kind of goes for it. And the stuff he comes up with just flows. Especially this track in particular, I've always loved just the way that the rhythm section complements all the craziness that's going on. You got the orchestra here, which is a mix of what Brian programmed with Siobhan on the violins.
So a lot of the times, Brian and I will come up with thematic ideas, and then we'll be like, okay, now play that 700 times, we'll do different variations. So the songs are all composed by Brian and I, but, the thing that brings them to life is all of this. And certainly when we had Siobhan come in, and she wasn't here from the beginning, it's just wow. Like, we're not even bothering writing violin or viola or any of that stuff now because we have real strings. But at this time, when these songs were written, we didn't have real strings. So she came back in and tried to, like, indulge us stupid guitar players and be like, oh, this is what you were trying to do? And then 40 tracks later.
So, yeah. And then after all the really intense stuff...
A minute of 20 and basically MK Ultra.
We have a little bit of a reprieve here.
This is an example of Kelly Carlock, our guitarist, showing his different stages of emotion. So much feel. It's really I mean, so where in the last video, we alluded to the fact that Cory throws in a lot of like drums in between stuff. Sometimes we'll be like, hey, Kelly, we just did a minute and 20 seconds of fucking fire. We're going to have a little bit of Siobhan. What can we do that doesn't sound stupid and over the top? And he'll send us like these meaningful, well-composed, like why would we ever have him play on the previous part? That's a perfect example. When I got it and I looked at Cory, and I say this probably every single song, but I'm like, this is Kelly's best solo.
Yeah, no, it's tons of feel. It's perfect. It's always perfect for whatever it's playing with. It's just there's a lot of thought that goes into what he puts together, and the coolest part is he's setting up Ollie.
And the thing is that's great about Ollie, as you'll hear, is his tone is unmistakable. Like literally from the second he comes in, like there's no doubt of what it is. And the thing I like about him is he's just kind of wielding notes at you. And like Ollie, and I'm sure Cory can speak to this too, like it was about capturing magic with him. He had like a lot of takes where he'd go through it and it sucked. Like he'd go for it, but he's like, oh, and he'd get mad at himself. But like when he got it, he got it. And it was always amazing.
And then we're back into Conrad.
Well, the thing
a whole nother.
I love about Ollie on this is that first off, his vibrato is so ridiculous. I mean, he's got the best vibrato of almost any guitarist I've ever heard. And again, like where Marty on Take Another Piece has like this thematic thing going on. Well, you have all this pyrotechnics, and then Ollie comes in and he just goes, I'm going to play these notes, and they're just going to soar over you with this vibrato. And as he's holding out a note, then comes in Conrad, and it's like, oh, we're back to the fire.
Right. It's just
Conrad's so cool.
Mind-numbing.
He's like Frank Zappa, or like what people liked about Eddie Van Halen, where he has like weird breakouts of notes. Like nothing is normal with this guy. Like if you analyze it, it's all pleasantly weird, but like it's probably the hardest guitar playing to reverse engineer, because I think one time he even told us like the way he plays and the way is that he subdivides time signatures. So some of his stuff, like you can't even. It's like I don't know. I can't even tell you. I can't demystify it because it makes no sense to me either. Like that minor third, like why? But it's fucking weird. And he's like, oh, but I deliberately meant to do that. Like, okay. That's not at all what I would do. And the thing that he does is, again, these super fast runs, and then it just stops. And you're like, what? But that's Conrad. Like, he literally is like, I'm going to fuck with your mind, and every solo is just, here's the bar, and I'm going to just piss over it.
Yeah.